Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am V.Chanel. If you're a returning subscriber, hello, thank you. I'm so glad to have you. I appreciate you. Subscribe to my channel for more content that I'm going to be bringing you every single week. As you could tell from the description in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know before you go to Hawaii. Okay, so you're planning a trip to Hawaii, and I know right now with all of the rules, regulations, policies, everything going on, planning a trip in general can just be frustrating. But planning a trip to Hawaii can be double frustrating because it's even more stuff that you need to do. So in this video, I'm gonna let you know the government site that you need to go on so that you can get all the updates and all the news that you need to know before you go. That is also the site that you're going to upload your test results and everything on, so I'm going to give you that. I'm also going to help you out by giving you a site that tells you exactly when and what time you should go get tested so that you meet your 72-hour deadline. So Superwoman is here. Here we go. So when you first book your trip to Hawaii, the first thing you want to do is go on their government website. This website, you can be able to see if there's any, new policies in placement, if they're making people quarantine. Thing you want to do before you even go get your COVID test is go on this website that I'm showing you right here, somewhere up in here in the corner. You go in here so that you can find out exactly when you should go take your test so that you can make your 72-hour window. So as you can see here, I'm going on the site. You scroll down, you put in all your information. So after you've booked your flight to Hawaii, you put in your information for your flight. You put what time your flight leaves and, your time zone and all that different stuff. After you put it in, you scroll down a little bit, and right here, it's going to tell you exactly when you should go take your test. It's going to let you know I think it said something like you should go take your test, no earlier than this date. So you go take your test within that time frame. Now, if you go take your test after that, that's on you, but hopefully you get your test results back in time so that you can have your results ready when it's time for you to get on your flight, because it truly doesn't matter where you're coming from. It take your test 1 hour before your 72-hour window. It doesn't matter. They will not let you get on your flight, and you need your test results to get on your flight. So right here, I am giving you a cheat sheet. You go on here, it lets you know when you should take your test. Just take it at that time, the time that they give you. And sometimes you may book, like if you're booking on Walgreens or something like that, if you're booking your test on Walgreens, they may not have that time available, but if they have 2 hours, 3 hours after that time, you're fine. You just have to make sure you meet your 72-hour window. So you're here on this screen as well. The first thing you want to do is find your local testing site. Most places have a Walgreens. So for me, Walgreens has been the easiest step. So right here, you see me going on to Walgreens.com. You go on to Walgreens, you find the testing site, you hit the questionnaires, and then you go from there. All of it is pretty self-explanatory, but I am walking you through here just to show you a little bit on what to do. So you fill out all of your information, you put everything that you need to do, everything, all of the questionnaire is going to ask you a bunch of questions that they need to ask you to determine whether or not, to come take a test. I guess that's what they determine. Either way it go, they can't tell you, oh, no, you don't need to come take a test. So, I don't know. I don't even understand the point of this, but it's a whole questionnaire. And then when you get to the end of the questionnaire, now you get to choose what type of test that you want to take. I've seen a lot of people talk about it depends on where you're coming from with what test you have to take. It's really all depending on what type of test the state of Hawaii requires you to take. And to my knowledge, they only require you to take the Rapid ID Now test, as you see right here. So you click on that, you take the test, it'll show you a list of all the places that you can go to take your test. And you see I chose my closest one. I was just kind of going through just to show you guys a demonstration. So you choose your closest one. When you do that, you scroll down a little bit and it is going to show you the date, and you choose the date that you want to take the test. When you choose the date, it's only going to show you the dates that's available. When you choose the date that you want, you then scroll down a little bit and it'll give you a time, and you choose your time that you want to take it, and if it's available, you're all clear. Now, one thing that you do have to keep in mind is that you do have to do this for every single person that's going to be catching the flight. So even if you have children who are underage, I don't know if there's a certain age where you don't have to test the child, but if there isn't, you have to do this for every single person that's going to be getting on the flight. After you do this for yourself, and let's say you have one child like mine, my daughter was 11. So let's say you have one 11-year-old child, you have to then go back and do the same thing for her. You do want to pick times close to each other because, you know, they're going to be in the car with you. So, you know, and you do want to do it back to back because you could very easily lose that time slate. My daughter's test was scheduled 5 minutes after mine, and then she still told us to come back. She told us to wait 30 minutes and come back. I don't know what that was all about, but you know, she asked us to wait 30 minutes, come back. So 30 minutes later, we went back. Now, after you have gotten your test results back, let's just say you got your test results back within an hour, like I did. Let's be hopeful. This is where you're going to load your test results, because they are also going to give you a QR code. They're going to send you an email. And on that email, you're going to click the link to see your test results. On your test results, you will have a QR code, to my knowledge. I can't really remember because it was a while ago, but I think you will have like a QR code. So on that, here, it's going to lead you. You're going to do the questionnaire first. You have to do the questionnaire. You're going to put in all your information. Then you're going to put in your flight information. And then after you put in your flight information, it's going to show you a tab that says upload. And that is where you are going to upload your and whoever else is flying with you test results. From there, it's going to take a little while. It's going to process. I don't know, maybe it's taking a while to go through their system or something like that, but you don't really have to worry about that. No, you know what, actually, you won't get a QR code until your test results process. Put in your flight information and all of that different stuff. Then you're going to upload your test results, and it's going to process for a while. It has to go through their system or whatever it has to go through. And then once it goes through their system and they okay it, that's when you're going to get your QR code. To be real with you, you don't even need the QR code. All you really need is your test results. So when you go to the airport and all that different stuff, they're going to ask either for your QR code or your test results. You can just show them your test results and you'll be good to go. I know it's a lot. It's really a lot. But after you've gone through all of that, now it's time for you to catch your flight to Hawaii. Okay, so now that you're getting on your flight, you caught your flight, you're in Hawaii. When you get to Hawaii, H&L, if you're going to Oahu, we're speaking specifically to people traveling to Oahu. I mean, I think the whole test results and all of that stuff is the same no matter what island you're going to, but I only truly have knowledge of Oahu because that's the only island that I've been to so far. When you get to Oahu and you get off the flight, you get to H&L. It's not gonna look like the Hawaii that you imagine. It's not. Of really dated, kind of project-ish looking apartments, honestly. Airport is beautiful, especially when you go through the, it's like a tunnel or a bridge or something that kind of leads to different parts of the airport. When you get outside, they have a koi fish pond. They have all these beautiful flowers, beautiful nature. It is beautiful at the airport. So that is a pro. Even though when you get off the flight or when you pull into the airport, but the airport itself is beautiful. So you still get the feel of, oh my God, I'm in Hawaii. They do have taxis who charge flat rates to take you from the airport to Waikiki. My very first trip to Hawaii, I caught Charlie's taxi. I'll try to put a link somewhere in the video, but they have a flat rate of, I believe it's $29 to take you from the airport to Waikiki. The first time I went to Hawaii, I did stay in Waikiki. I don't remember what hotel I stayed in, but if I can remember, I will let you guys know, or I will leave a link below. So the second time that I went to Hawaii, my daughter and I, we did catch a taxi from, we had to catch a taxi from the airport to Makaha Valley. Makaha Valley, it's on the west side of the island. Most islands, but I do know Hawaii Island, most islands are made up of two different sides. They call it windward side and leeward side. And you know what? I don't even remember which one is which, so I'm not even about to try to act like I know. But I do know that. So anyway, Makaha Valley is on the west side of the island. The west side of the island, it is 1 hour away. It's not far at all, but I did read that because of the mountains and because of the route that you have to take around the mountains is why it takes so long. Honestly, the ride didn't seem that long to me, but maybe because you know, me and the taxi driver was talking the entire time. I'm not sure. Our cab was relatively expensive. I paid a lot of money for that taxi. I probably paid $100 for that taxi. But he was very, very nice. He stopped at the grocery store before we got to our apartment in the Makaha Valley Towers. The grocery store we stopped at, I believe it wasn't Safeway. I think it was the Y&I store. Thing to know before you go to Hawaii, almost all of the hotels are only in Waikiki. You do have the Disney resort that is not too far from Y&I. I don't remember where it is. I will put it in the description below where it is. But you do have the Disney resort. That's not in Waikiki. That's a little bit further out. And then there is a resort that sits like right at the tip. It's like waterfront. Like it's like right there. It is in Y&I. So they do have one resort in Y&I, and then they have the Disney resort. But other than those two resorts, every single resort and hotel will only be in Waikiki. One thing I can tell you is that if you do stay in Honolulu, Waikiki, that's basically what I mean when I say Waikiki, Honolulu, or anywhere up in that region. One thing to know is that all of the buildings are built up. None of them are built across, which is probably why there's not much space in any of the places in Hawaii. When I was searching for permanent housing, every single like apartment and things like that was like the size of a closet. All of it is like outdated, like 70s, 80s, 90s, and it's going to cost you, if you have two people, it's going to cost you probably about $1,500 a month, and you probably won't even get a living room. Let's be real. Learn to downsize. You'll have to learn to become a minimalist, or you just wait till you ballin' and then move over there then. In our last video where I showed us going to 4 hotels in 4 weeks, the third hotel that we went to, I did not mention in my last video. I didn't even record at this hotel because, sis, this hotel was called the Stay Hotel. It was so funny. We got there after we saw the room. My daughter said, I don't know why it's called the Stay Hotel. It should be called the Leave Hotel. It's the audacity for me. Like, they had the nerve to ask you for a credit card. You had to have a credit card. And you know, usually when you check into hotels, they say you have to have a major credit card on hold, but if you use your debit card or something like that, they'll usually use that to hold the incidental fees. No, they wanted an actual major credit card. And honey, let me tell you, we got upstairs to them rooms, and I was like, where, Sway? I'm not staying here. The only good thing about this hotel was that it was literally around the corner from Waikiki. around the corner, like literally. Me and my daughter literally switched rooms 3 times at this hotel. I'm gonna put a picture of this hotel off in the corner here so you guys can know exactly what hotel I'm talking about, because I chose this hotel because the rooms on the internet look completely different from what it was when we got there. So according to them, the rooms on the internet is like an upgrade or whatever, but even after upgrading us 2 or 3 times, we still never saw this particular room. So I don't know, but anyway, like a little side street, and it'll probably be really hard to find it unless you know where you're going. You know, it's pretty quiet. To some people it's probably questionable. I don't really know what to say about this hotel. Like, it was like dorm rooms when we got there. Like, it was like the size of a closet, literally. They had one little jail bed going vertical, one little jail bed going horizontal. Tallest TV I have ever seen in my entire life. And then there was a balcony with like faux grass, like fake grass, but it was dirty. Like, it was a nightmare, honestly. Got to this hotel, I was starting to get discouraged about finding permanent housing. One day we had a really, really long day. I was tired. I had a lot on my mind. So I got up at like 11 o'clock and just walked to the beach. It's literally across the street. I would say across the street, but because there's a corner there, I can't really say across the street. But the beach is literally like across the street. Why go to Hawaii if you're not going to go to Waikiki Beach? But as far as swimming and all of that, yeah, nah. You might want to get a car and go to North Shore. Don't get me wrong, Waikiki is beautiful, but North Beach is prettier. North Shore. North Shore is prettier. Most of your beaches are on North Shore and on the west side of the island, like in Waianae, where we stayed our first month. That's where you're gonna find most of your beaches, especially your beautiful beaches. Like, it's a lot that's really, really beautiful, but you're gonna find them outside of Waikiki. You really don't even need a car, even if you just do Uber, Lyft, whatever, or taxi, and even the bus. Your bus is called the bus. But hey, you know, there's a difference between catching the bus in New York and catching the bus in Hawaii. Definitely want to get outside of Waikiki. I think I gave you everything that you pretty much needed to know. Your transportation, the places you want to stay, where all the hotels are, why
everything is so small, how to go about, your whole testing and uploading and all of that different stuff.
If there is anything that I'm missing, please comment below and let me know, because I'm definitely not a Hawaii guru. I just love it. But I've always wanted to be there. I got older and I decided I wanted to live there. Right now, we are currently back in Ohio because, like I said, the house hunting did not go as planned. I actually got a call back when I was on the plane headed to Chicago for a layover. So we had already been to Seattle, Portland, and we were headed to Chicago for another layover. Call back and told me that I was approved for housing. By that time, I was already gone. You know, I let her know that I came back to Ohio to take care of a few things, and if it was still available, then I would reach back out. Before you know it, we will be back in Oahu, and I hope to see you guys there. So that's all I have for this video. Please do not forget to like, comment, or subscribe. Just don't forget to subscribe.
After about 8 o'clock, that's usually when Waikiki is at its best live.
Fuck you.
I am V.Chanel. If you are a returning subscriber.